You know what's funny is that some of the best synths of all time don't even have features that are that unique, but some do. So yeah, if you've ever wanted to look at some absolutely frankly wacky synth features, well, here is a video showcasing all sorts of those. So the first one is the Bontempi Basic 26. I have actually a Bontempi Basic BK32. I might do a review on this synth on my channel at some point, but this is actually the normal looking one. The 26 looks like this. So unlike basically every other mini keyboard, they decided to add just a single new key for no reason and have it be weirdly molded with the plastic. It's quite the odd little thingy there. I'm just glad mine doesn't have it. Safe. So number 2 on this list, which isn't even in order, and how could it be in order? Number 2 is the Yamaha SDX27. It's basically a DX27, but with built-in speakers. Now I have this Yamaha PSR6, and it of course has a built-in speaker because it's kind of garbage in the sense of the term garbage that is only quality based, because I actually quite like the PSR6. It's very tasty and cheesy. But usually it's only the Portatone or Porta Sound or Porta whatever series of keyboards from Yamaha that actually have built-in speakers. And yet, a fully featured 4-operator FM synth just has them for some reason. So number 3, this one's kind of not that interesting, but if you've ever seen the Korg Prophecy, you probably have. But if you look closely, it has a third long mod wheel. Literally not even that interesting, but also kind of interesting, but also not like exciting. So on to number 4, we have the Casio VL Tone. Now I know what you're thinking. It's a keyboard with it's whatever, I've heard about this. But just think about it. Just think about it. It is a keyboard that you can do your homework. It's amazing. It's the only 2 things you ever need to do. I'll admit that one's kind of the most basic one, but now on to the next one, which is a little bit tasty. So I actually used to have one of these a while back, but a Roland XP30 is this little rompler, not even that interesting keyboard by Roland. But it does have this one interesting feature that I think might be one of a kind. So the Roland XP30 actually has not 1, not 2, but 3 SRJ V-style cards built right in with selector buttons to choose between each card. And actually one thing that's quite funny about this is if you add up the individual price of each card on Reverb, it ends up being more expensive than the XP30. And that's why I ended up buying one, because it's a value. I'm gonna buy a value. Yeah, but I ended up selling my XP30 because this is like much smaller. And honestly, I'm thinking of selling this because the plugin is much smaller, so might as well. So anyway, back onto the list because literally no one cares. So the next one, I've kind of lost count. Not that the count even mattered, but I kind of lost it. The next one is the Yamaha EMT10 or EMT1. They both have the exact same feature, but it's still kind of cool. Not to like flex on you guys. These are literally like worthless, honestly, but they have these super cool like envelope and filter things that are crazy. It has this little uppy downy lefty righty thing that you can either push up for bright, which kind of opens the filter, and go down for mellow, which kind of closes the filter, or same thing, slow kind of slows the attack, and then fast kind of shortens the attack. So it's like this little filter like envelope thingy that's built right in. And considering the price of these freaking EM modules, I think it's quite a cool feature. So this next one is the Kawaii MS-20, this little dinky thing. Look at that, isn't it just such a little children's toy? But anyways, if you look, you have these 4 buttons with letters, and you select your patch with letters. It has this code, it's like you're having to decode your freaking preset. Pretty awesome. Okay, I'll admit that last one was a little bit whack, but this one is actually quite cool. On the Mini Korg and a few other vintage Korg synths, there's this thing called the Traveler filter. It's basically this thing where you move it one way and you can kind of separate the 2 dots, But if you move it the other way, you can only get so far before they physically hit each other and get in the way of each other. Honestly, not much to say about this one. I don't have a mini Korg. I don't know the ins and outs of this little thingamajiggy. I'm sure somebody else does, but it's interesting. So yeah, on to the second to last one. This one's kind of obvious, but the Roland System 1 or System 8 synths. Yeah, it's basically an entire selling point of the synth, but you basically either can have a MIDI controller, which is nothing, or you can load in a plugin into the digital synth engine and just have that be your synth. It's a little bit wacky, and it's the only synth that does that, so it's by design unique. Yes, then the last one, this one's kind of silly. The Korg MS-20 IC. So look, right? Here's the image. It's a synth. It's same thing as the Roland. It's literally a MIDI controller. Please do not buy a Korg MS-20 IC. It does not make sound. Here's a normal Korg MS-20. Here's a MS-20 IC. You now know and will not be bamboozled. It sounds like I haven't been bamboozled, but people have been bamboozled, and it is silly. So yeah, did you guys like that video? Hopefully it came out any good, because I don't know. See you guys.